Yeah, I'm very surprised by this conference, and I think there are lots of interesting things going on. So I was very glad to be invited, and I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. And I think it's a lot of interesting discussion, lots of interesting workshops, and very pragmatic solutions about what to teach and how to teach it with modern tools. So yeah, I was very well surprised by the event. Well, education is a huge, it's a huge field. So there are online players, there are traditional universities, there are new kind of in-person program like coding bootcamps, like what we do. So it's not just online players. It's a big family, the family of education, and there are not so many big education conferences. I haven't been to a lot. There are a big one in San Diego, but there are not so many. In France, for example, where I come from, there are no major EdTech events. So I'm not sure there are so many interesting EdTech events in the world. So, and EdCrunch is one of the interesting ones. And I think it's an old education is an old lady, if you wish. And so it's good that people a bit from academic background, traditional teachers that also come to meet the new generation of educators, discover new tools. And I think that's what creates interesting exchanges, to have different worlds join and exchange ideas as well. I think there is a lot of passion, because that's what education is about. You need to be passionate in this. It's not a business. It's more like something where you need to be very involved and very passionate about your students and what you're doing. So I would say lots of exchanges of ideas. Teachers like to debate about stuff. That's a thing that's also really related to education. And of course, lots of tech as well. Tech is an important word for this. Obviously, tech is changing a lot about what we teach and how we teach it. So it's also, I would say, an important word describing this conference. I discovered, I've always liked to teach things to others. I was a private teacher in mathematics and physics when I was doing my studies. Then I just didn't know it. I was teaching, but I didn't know it was my real calling and what I wanted to do in my life. So I was just a private teacher. And then when I started working in the investment banking, it was a very engineering role as a quantitative analyst. So doing lots of mathematics and probability models. And I didn't want to become an expert. I wanted to do some more general things. And in the bank, I was also the guy that was going to explain complex models to operational teams. So I was also kind of doing education in my role. It was an engineer role, but I was the guy from the team that was sent to explain things in conference. So it was also a bit of an education role at the end. And I guess I had the switch when I started to work with friends in the tech on building web applications. That's where I discovered code, basically, and programming. I knew it a bit, but from my engineering school, and to be honest, I didn't like the way I learned about programming at school. It was very theoretical. We never built anything with code, and so for me it was a bit boring. And in the bank, I was using code for mathematics, so not really again a bit of engineer programming and not building products. So when I started building products with code with friends, that's where I realized that code is here to build products that are used by people, and that's the way it should be taught. And I think at this moment I say, okay, let's teach the programming in this new way, and that's when I quit the bank to launch the Le Wagon adventure, basically. So we have campuses in 35 cities around the world. So mostly in Europe, so we have campuses in all the major cities in Europe, but also in Latin America, so in Brazil, in Argentina, in Mexico, and we are also present in Asia. So we've got 2 campuses in Japan, and Tokyo, Kyoto. We are in Shanghai, in Chengdu, in Shenzhen, so lots of different places in Asia as well. And yeah, we have overall about more than 5,500 graduates that did Le Wagon that have done Le Wagon for the last 5 years. And every year now we graduate about between 2,500 and 3,000 new students every year, basically.
Sounds terrific.
Yeah. We do see that obviously lots of our students, they join our coding bootcamp to find a developer job. So they really want to learn that with us in a very efficient way in 2 months to get a job as a developer. So most of them, they join Le Wagon for this reason. But we also have a bit less, but also let's say 25% maybe of students who join us and they don't know. They don't know if they are going to be developers and they just want to get these skills and see what happens next, just to open new doors for them. And it's interesting because what happens is like either they really love it. So for instance, we have people like students that study literature and now working in a very tech company as a backend developer, and so they really discovered that's what they wanted to do. Or for some others, it will be a way to be able to develop their own application as an entrepreneur and test the idea by developing a product, and then they don't plan to be their own CTO on the long run. But the fact that they can start working and building a first version of their app, testing the market, and after that recruit a technical team by exactly knowing what's inside their product and how it works, it also brings them a lot of power. And some other will just maybe sometimes go back to consulting or to more traditional roles, but with a new skill set and with a new way of seeing technology and how you can use it. So I would say learning programming is not a prerequisite for everyone. It's just something that first make you comfortable with technology, give you idea and a new way of thinking as well that can be very useful whatever job you're doing. So just about the bootcamp. So at the end, the bootcamp is a fancy word, let's say a buzzword to just speak about a very intensive in-person program of 2 months. So as a student, you join a classroom in a campus, so not online, with real teachers, and during 2 months you will learn how to become a web developer. So you will learn all the basics of programming, software architecture, web development, and you will be able to build your own application and find a job. So that's what a bootcamp is about. So at the end is a classroom and a teacher. It's a traditional education model, but very intensive in 2 months and based on practice. So you practice a lot. That's what defines the bootcamp. So about where to apply in Russia. So there are campuses of Le Wagon in Europe. So I guess in Berlin or in Amsterdam, or that would be maybe in Brussels. So if you're willing to join Le Wagon for doing this training with us, there are a few options in Europe. One of the reasons why I'm here also to discuss with potential education partner to open a branch of Le Wagon in Russia, in Moscow. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. And I guess there are lots of local also players, local bootcamps that might be relevant checking. There are a lot of them, so I can't tell you all. You have just to look on Google, Coding Bootcamp Moscow, and I guess there might be new players also that start. Well, for us, we've been there for 6 years. We have more like 1,000 student reviews. We are ranked first bootcamp in the world. So we put a lot of heart into our curriculum. It's really well oiled, because the problem is you can learn these skills online, but it will take you a lot of time, especially in a complex field like web development or data science, to put all the information in the right order and to make the connection. I know because I've started to learn online like web development, and with good friends that were helping me, and it took me 2 years. So what brings a bootcamp is with a very straightforward and very iterated curriculum based on practice, bring you these skills in 2 months and make you save time. There are two kinds of stories. There are lots of stories of entrepreneurs. So we have a former student who launched a computer vision solution that was acquired by Apple, for instance, or we had Scalo, it's a platform for restaurants. It's the CTO and the CEO, they both met during Le Wagon, they launched their startup, they raised about 8 million on a very early stage investment, and now they are scaling their product in Europe. So we have lots of entrepreneur stories, people who do Le Wagon and meet and launch a successful startup that raise money or get acquired. And on the other hand, we have, I think what I'm the most proud of is really like reskilling people. Like we had a truck driver who is now working as a developer in a very trendy tech startup. We had someone from who studied literature. He was working in Get Around, like a car sharing tech company as a web developer. So lots of this kind of a bit what the fuck switch. For me, that's what I like the most, because you really bring value to someone. It's not just raising funds of startups and stuff like that. It's really, you can see the impact you have on the individual, and I think that's why you do education at the end.